let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Everybody, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here on a Wednesday. It's the 3rd of September. If you're not listening on the audio stream this morning. We're having some audio stream difficulties. No problem, because we're right here on YouTube. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video. Leave your comments in the comments section. Don't forget, you can follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Good morning, Ross Peterson. What's going on there, buddy?
Dude, technical issues. Don't we love them? Yesterday, one of my buddies yesterday was like, what, you did this for a living, dude. What's going on with the audio? I said, here's the problem, man. Remember about 20 years ago when you take your car to the mechanic one day, right? And the mechanic looked at you lost. And the mechanic said to you, I used to be able to fix the car with a wrench. And now I can't fix the car with the wrench anymore. I have to tell a computer how to fix the computer. And I got to go to class to figure that out. That's how I feel today. That's how I felt yesterday as we were troubleshooting stuff. And even today, as we work through things, it used to be that I could go, oh yeah, okay, see, there's these cords. And you unplug that cord there and you get a new cord. And then when you plug in see how it works? See how that worked? There's this mechanical thing, and there's something, and there's wires, and I can splice those wires, and we can build you a whole new one. And now when stuff goes wrong, you and I have to go. It's like MediaCom. Well, did you shut it down?
Reboot.
Try turning it off and turning it on again. And that didn't work. Oh, is there a settings tab?
And that's where Owen gets so frustrated with me because I'm kind of with you. I'm computer illiterate, and
we're cavemen.
We really are cavemen. And he's like, Dad, this is very simple. I said, it's simple for you because you grew up in this world. I didn't grow up in this world. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm beholden to you to talk me through this.
Yeah.
But here's the great thing about what we do is that we have a number of options, and YouTube being one of them. So we are here today. It will be on the audio stream later on because I hit record on my little player here, so I'm able to record everything we're doing. And right after the show, it's going to be up on the website at therushradio.com. So enough about that.
Okay.
You intrigued me yesterday. You really, really intrigued me yesterday. I had a busy day yesterday. I was out of commission doing a lot of stuff. We're getting Greta moved into her dorm room. Had to go to Home Goods. Had to go to Walmart. There's nothing like going to Walmart. It's one of those experiences that you never forget. But I was just, as I was sitting in Home Goods yesterday, as they were shopping around for stuff, Home Goods has a furniture place. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit in these really comfortable chairs right here and go through social media while you guys go shopping, because I'm not a big shopper. And then you had a tweet yesterday about Charles Lindbergh.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to start with a rabbit hole this morning. Yeah. So we've got Cyhawk. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up. But at the end of the day, I need to know about this rabbit hole that you went down, because I know Charles Lindbergh for two things. Flying across the Atlantic and having his baby kidnapped. That's what I know.
That, to me, is number two. I mean, there's a big number three that's a real unfortunate number three that's right there.
Is this the rabbit hole?
We'll get into the rabbit hole. I'm glad you just changed my mood, dude. You just totally did a 180 on my mood there, because I was in a shitty mood when we got started because I screwed something up here, we think, or there's something wrong in my system. But anyway, we're in that troubleshooting phase of not being able to figure this shit out, and that's how I was starting my day at 6:03, and I'm like, oh, dang, this is gonna suck. because it's a bottle rocket. My day's a bottle rocket. When you light it, it's going to go one way really fast. And I was headed the wrong direction. Thanks for the veer.
That's what I'm here. I'm here to put you in a good mood.
You do that to me
I'm here to
99.9% of the time. You do that to me. Thank you. Thank you.
And it shows you that I pay attention to you when we're not together.
You know me. You know
what's Ross got here.
You and Courtney are the two people in my life that read that bellwether the best. Courtney sees it before I feel it. Courtney's like, "Hey, you're feeling a certain way." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And like 10 minutes later, I'm like, "Oh my God." So, all right. So my buddy Alan had told me we share podcasts with each other, and we were talking about fun stuff several months ago, and he told me about his favorite podcast, which is called Time Suck. It's by a comedian named Dan Cummins, he's a decent comedian. He's got his special out on Netflix right now. It's pretty funny. He's a funny guy. I didn't really know who he was until I was told about his podcast, which he's not really a historian. It's not a Joe Rogan style. It's just him. He's going to read a story to you. And it's about 2 hours long, 2.5 hours long. It's got a format to it. And of course he's a comedian, so he mixes in a lot of his humor, which is off the wall and weird, but you get to learn a lot of stuff. Right. So a new one dropped the other day, and it was about the trial of the century, as you and I were taught. And as I'm learning, most people over 40 were taught the trial of the century. Charles Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic, first person to do that. That's an amazing story all in itself. He's a pretty interesting guy all in himself. And then when he comes home, he becomes an American hero, obviously. And his family is extremely wealthy, and he has a baby, and the baby gets kidnapped and killed. And they find the guy that did it, and they run him through a trial. It, of course, is hugely covered by the media, which is kind of a new thing in the 30s. It's becoming media and television, and all this stuff is just kind of splashing onto the scene. So everybody's looking for stuff to consume. Just like it is today, it's sensational. It's a well-known figure involved in a crazy story. So don't act like kids today act any different than anybody ever did. Same thing. And Charles Lindbergh's story flew across the Atlantic, baby kidnapped and killed, and trial of the century. And then the third thing became that he became a Nazi sympathizer.
What?
Yeah. Got into the eugenics. Yeah.
Do they keep this out of history because they don't want to change the narrative on Charlie? Obviously, it's not out of history, but we were never taught that.
Well, and when I say Nazi sympathizer, all right, oh God, this sounds so weird, but let's do it. It takes more context than just that, because there's an argument to be made that what I just said there is actually a little bit more pointed than it deserves to be. He was a Nazi sympathizer. I don't know how else to say it besides that. He was during that time until they bombed Pearl Harbor. And then he joined. So there's an important stuff here. Like, I think that's probably part of it, is that once they bombed Pearl Harbor, he was like, okay, because he was the best pilot. He wasn't just, I can fly a long ways. The dude was the best pilot in the world. And so he said, all right, I'm going to teach the other American boys how to do this. He went out. He was an ace during World War II. But he was one of the guys that fought. He was a World War I pilot. So let's go back, Trav. Alan, there's my buddy Alan that we shared that shared Time Suck with me. So I shared that back with Alan yesterday. And let's get into the crux of the tweet, and then we can talk more about Lindbergh as we talk about it here. Okay,
we can do that.
Because I reached out to Alan. I'm like, hey man, make sure you listen to this. This is really cool. I knew a lot about Charles Lindbergh because of a high school course I took at East High School. Everybody took this one class. It was an amazing class, and it was 4 classrooms in one, 4 teachers: Mr. Bankus, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Thompson. don't remember the last guy. But anyway, they would teach you all of this amazing history stuff. And then you dive into it. For like a week, 2 weeks, you would study one subject. This is probably where I got my love for rabbit holes. And one of those was the Lindbergh case. And so I send this to Alan. Alan writes back to me and he's like, dude, I didn't know anything about Charles Lindbergh. Like, he's like, I think if you would have put my buddies, the guys my age, and Alan is like 10 years younger than me. He's like, I think if you'd have put buddies my age in a room and asked us, maybe more than that, asked us about Charles Lindbergh, we would have said the pilot, the guy that only thing we know is he flew across the Atlantic. First person to do that. I say, yeah, this is 1 and 1B. So then he started asking guys around his job site, like, hey, tell me what you know about Charles Lindbergh. And he wrote back to me and said, hey, man, I think I'm discovering something. Seems to me like guys my age did not learn this about Charles Lindbergh. Guys my age did. Now, here's the thing. If you step up, like somebody, S. Williams just wrote, him and Henry Ford loved them some Nazis. They did.
Henry Ford did too. I didn't know that.
Henry Ford. Yep. I mean, Trav, man, you got to remember, it's hard to pluck things out of history and evaluate them through today's lens. It's not fair to do that. And again, none of this sounds. I don't want to be the guy that's defending the Nazi defenders. I'm just saying both of those are smart guys. How your first instinct is like, oh my God, they must have hated. They were brainwashed. They grew up in a different world, and they were taught different things than you and I were taught. And I think that history's lens has to have a grace component to it. I don't like the fact that we look back at Christopher Columbus now and we got people that are like, oh, the colonizer. He was a guy that was amazing at his job and did his job. And he's not the one that called them Indians. And it's not, and by the way, that's not because of India, by the way. It's none of what we get taught is clear and concise. And I mean, look at how bad the news is. Look at how bad the news is. How good do you think history is?
Oh, history is written to the winners.
History is written by the winners.
Yes. And
then everything gets weird. S. Williams must be a little bit of a historian here. Yeah, Henry Ford, he said Henry Ford got a medal from Hitler in person.
In person? Again, if you were asked the average Joe like me, what's Henry Ford famous for? The assembly line and the Model T. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? I mean, you're not taught the other side of history, the darker side of history, should we say, because it's written by the winners.
Oh my gosh! What Sean just dropped something that is interesting, because he just threw a name out of left field that got brought up at Audrey's party yesterday.
By the way, happy birthday to Audrey. And she got whacked in the head last night. She got whacked in the head
with a golf club, dude.
Ooh, was it a 9-iron, 7-iron?
Like one of those little baby driver things. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like for a little kid. It means a metal head on the. Excuse me.
Ross is losing a lung. He smoked
a frog in my throat.
3
there.
Marlboros this morning. So.
Yeah, right. No, it's got a little fall frog there. No, we had a great day yesterday, man. Like minutes before this happened, she had said to me, Dad, this is the best birthday ever. This is awesome. I had a little mini surprise party for her. I planned a couple of her friends to come over and surprise her at my dad's house. So I just told her it was my family getting together. And then a couple of her busties' moms dropped their girls off, and they were waiting in the garage for her when we got there. And we had some vases for them to paint, and we had pizza, and there were games to play. And it's like, all right, it's time. Travis, it's that thing of, all right, guys, it's time to go. Let's get loaded up, and we're going to get out of here. And they're like, all right, one last swing. And they go racing into the yard, and I'm gathering some stuff. And like the next thing I hear is her friend, Ross, Ross. I'm like, oh, I look back and Audrey's like, and I mean, instantly, she had a softball in her cheek. So we got ice on it, and I mean, honestly, by the time we got home, we got everybody home, and by the time we pulled in about 8:00 last night, it already looked way better. So she got some aspirin. She was sitting on the couch laughing with her brother last night when she fell asleep. So
you should have went old school and like went to the meat market and got a big old cold steak. Throw a steak on it. Remember in the cartoons and stuff, they'd have you put a piece of red meat.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
I'm like,
when you had a black eye, when a cartoon character got a black eye, they'd put this T-bone over it. Yeah, I remember this, Trav.
Like, why? What's the significance of a T-bone on a wound? I'm trying to figure that out.
What was it that it was something that would have been cold and malleable, kind of like Tyler says, bag of peas, which was always very popular in our house. One of those bags of frozen vegetables was something that we would use.
Well, yeah, because you were too poor to have an actual ice bag.
Right, and again, it was malleable, right? It would form around your shoulder.
Yeah,
you could, or your head. Huh? Why was the T? But did the T-bone have? I got it. My laptop's. Nick says because meat was $1 back then.
Meat's not $1 now.
So, dude, the Lindbergh thing was a fascinating little rabbit hole to go down. All sorts of stuff. Even Travis, like, something I didn't think about. The history of flight is really of an interesting timeline. And when I say interesting, my conspiracy eye twitches. Okay, my conspiracy eye twitches. It was like 50 years between the first flight, between the Wright brothers figuring it out for like 30 feet, and World War, where we're fighting wars in the air. We have planes doing unbelievable tricks. Okay, so Charles Lindbergh grows up in this era where, growing up as a kid, it's almost like if you met a 45-year-old computer programmer hacker or 60-year-old, a person that grew up in an era where there was no flight, was no computers. They watched the evolution of it. They got so involved with it that they became the best in it. That's kind of what we're talking about here, right?
Okay.
So this era of people find out about flight, this era of adrenaline junkies and kids, they get into flight. And then all of a sudden, amazing stuff starts to happen. I mean, you got guys, first of all, they come back from war and they are adrenaline junkies. And they got to figure out ways to get that fixed. So they start these like barnstorming tours where they would show up at the fair, there would be a plane. There'd be planes, and the plane would fly by, and there'd be people playing tennis on top of the double of bywing. There was this one famous story of a girl that danced the Charleston on the edge of a wing, untethered. She goes out and dances the Charleston. She's like 13, dancing the Charleston on the edge of a wing of a plane. They're doing insane stuff. That's 50, 60 years into flight, right?
Yeah.
In a flash of time, 30 years later, we're on the freaking moon, dude.
Are we? Are we on the moon? Are we on the moon? I'm just asking. Because you texted me the other day and say, okay, we didn't go to the moon.
Don't tell people that.
Oh, you want me to be the only crazy one? You want me to be the only crazy one?
Don't tell people that. S. Williams has got to be a historian. I'm not sure if we've ever met before, but he's nailing it. There were a lot of cheap planes available after World War I. There's a lot of stuff happening and again, these guys are adrenaline junkies. They're coming back they got to get something to get that fixed. And this is Lindbergh. And then there's people that are out there that are like, who am I thinking of? Great Gatsby type character. Who's the guy that Hughes?
Howard Hughes?
Howard Hughes. I almost said Harold Hughes. Howard Hughes. You got characters like that are now out there, not necessarily him specifically, but people like him are saying, hey, I got money. We're coming out of the Depression. I ended up with all the money. I'll throw out a prize here. First person to fly across the Atlantic and do it by themselves. If you can fly from New York to Paris and prove it to me, I'll give you a bunch of cash. And here's why I want to do it, because I want to learn more about flight. I think if we can all do this as an endeavor together, we'll learn more together. What do you guys think? And dudes started throwing their lives at it, man. Men and women.
Lives.
Men and women died trying to get a plane across the Atlantic. When Lindbergh did it, he couldn't even see out the front window of the plane.
Using his total navigation system.
He had to, yes, like Ace Ventura. He had to lean out the window on the plane. And then when he got to Paris, just for shits and giggles, he flew around the Eiffel Tower a few times before he landed. And the papers wrote that they treated him not like he flew across water, like he walked across water.
You mentioned that he gave a speech in Des Moines. When did he give it? Where did he give the speech? And when was?
I'll have to look up the details. I apologize. When we hit the break, I'll go get my laptop so I can get some of those details. In fact, I bet I can find it. I have a laptop right here. It turns out.
Do you remember the name of his plane?
Again, he was a politician. The name of the plane was the Spirit of St. Louis. Now, the reason it was called the Spirit of St. Louis, because again, he's kind of a crazy pilot, right? He's kind of a crazy, he's the nutty guy he's the driver. Got to get sponsors for the race car, right? They're not just going to let me race a sprint car down at Knoxville. I got to show up with some folks with some cash. So his people with cash were a group of businessmen out of St. Louis. And that's why it was called the Spirit of St. Louis, because the guys that funded the thing were all from St. Louis.
You know, times haven't changed. When you need to do something, you go find people with money to fund your dreams. Hey, I have this idea.
Absolutely.
Would you mind loaning me some money?
Do you know who Dan Pena is?
Is he that motivational speaker?
Yeah, real MFer dude, yes. Real kind of in your face dude.
In your face, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
He has a great speech about he does a college commencement speech to 450 graduates at some prestigious university. And he says, "I know two things about every one of you. Don't even know you. Don't care to know you. Don't want to know you. I know two things about every one of you. Right now, you've got an idea that you think can change the world or help it in some way, right? If you're sitting here right now, getting ready to graduate, thinking, I'm going to go change the world. And you might. Most of you aren't. Most of your ideas suck. Some of you have a great idea. You've all got an idea. That's number one. Here's number two. Do you know what your idea needs? Money. So you can either do one of two things. You can either come to some asshole like me and ask me for my money, and I'm going to tell you no because your idea sucks. Or you can go make your own money and then do your idea. I thought it was good. He drops a lot more F-bombs. Just be careful if you ever find Dan Pena. All right, the Des Moines speech, formally titled, "Who Are the War Agitators?" He was known as an isolationist and an anti-Semitic. Charles Lindbergh delivered a speech in 1941 at the America First Committee rally held in Des Moines. In the speech,
America First.
Dude, nothing is new under the sun, especially in politics. Nothing. It's wild.
We're going to hear hope again. It's
buddy.
A rinse and replay. Whatever works.
Right. By the way, and again, this is important on both sides. Nothing. Yes. What Obama did had actually been done by Eddie Murphy in a movie in the 80s. The issue is change. Change for the better. All right. So Lindbergh argued that participation in World War II was not in the United States' best interest. He accused three groups of trying to push the country towards the war. The British people, who he said propagandized the United States, the Jewish people, who Lindbergh accused of exercising outsized influence and controlling of the news and media, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And then, of course, 9/11. Then, of course, Pearl Harbor happened. And he's like, oh, it's the Key and Peele skit. Oh, so I'm the asshole. Oh, okay. All right, let's teach these boys how to fight. Let's go, guys. So this how we fly this thing. Fascinating guy, man. That, again, no pedestals. There's some really nasty stuff with Charles Lindbergh.
But again, history will tell you that he's an American hero.
And he'd been through war and didn't want other kids to go through war. And so he saw a war happening across the pond that he'd already tried to fight in, and he's like, hey, we don't want to be a part of this. Let those guys figure that out.
And I get that, right? For the most part, I would say for the most part, I'm an isolationist. If we don't need to be involved, I don't think we need to be involved. I mean...
And history, here's the other thing. History is not going to look kindly on any of us. Any of us. Our grandkids are going to look back and go, you're not going to believe what my grandpa, they were alive when you did blank. And I got an idea of what I think blank is. I got a really solid idea of what I think blank is, but I don't want to piss off 50% of our audience.
But those same kids will repeat the same history because history just repeats itself.
There you go. Same exact thing all the time. How much of that sounded like, if you didn't know that was Charles Lindbergh in 1941 and the Nazis, and I just said, yeah, there was this speech where a guy said, hey, man, we shouldn't be getting involved in wars. And this guy thinks that the Jews are to blame for everything. You'd go, that's weird. But you wouldn't look at it and go, oh, that's 1941. You'd look at it and go, I bet I know some people there.
So this is what puts Ross in a good mood, folks. This is what he does during the day. He goes down a rabbit hole, and he consumes his time. And again, one little tweet piqued my interest yesterday, and we just went for a half hour on it. He's in a much better mood than he was at 6:01.
Let me tell you a weird part about the Lindbergh thing. Because again, he was a weird cat, man.
He
was a weird cat. Dude. When they first found out that his baby was missing, so they walk into the room, and the window is open. There's a ladder against the room. It's obvious the baby is gone. Her first instinct was that Charles was playing a joke on her because he was known to hide the baby from her as a practical joke.
Well, that's mean. That's not a practical joke. That's mean.
Do you think?
That's mentally abusive.
He would like to hide the baby in like a closet and then say, hey, I can't find the baby.
Let's play hide and seek.
She'd freak out and run around. So when he comes in and says, hey, I can't find the baby, it's Boy Who Cried Wolf. She's like, okay, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, for real this time. For reals.
This is going to transition nicely. Not bad word to say it, but when we come back, there's a baby story that's absolutely sad that happened out of Kentucky in the University of Kentucky, and a member of the cheer squad. If you haven't heard this, Ross, just
I saw this on the rundown, dude.
Google it during the Google it during the break.
Do I need? Is there details I should know, or are you going? Can you give them those to me?
I can give to you when we come back. Plus, Cyhawk series continues. Caitlin Clark is working out. New top 25 college football poll is out. Good to have you along here on a Wednesday morning on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
The heat of summer is here. Have you had your vehicle safety inspected lately? With any service at Willis Chevy, we include a free multi-point inspection along with a video multi-point inspection. Our GM certified technicians will check your fluids, tires, suspension, brakes, and everything else underneath your vehicle. Come see us today for your inspection to make sure your vehicle is ready for that road trip or ready for the kids to go back to school. Schedule online today at willischevy.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here on a Wednesday. The Mega Million, the Powerball's at the $1.3 billion.
It's finally some real money. I mean,
$1.3 billion. That's a lot of money. We don't have $1.3 billion to give you, but we do want you to keep listening for our weekly... That's right. The weekly woohoo from the Iowa Lottery is all part of the Rush Radio Show. And this week's prize pack includes Scratch, Match, and Win, Jurassic World, and Iowa Blackout Scratch tickets, plus Mega Millions free play coupons. It's a prize pack valued at $90. And don't forget, all these games are part of Iowa Lottery's Play It Again promotions, where you can enter your non-winning tickets into your VIP club account for a second chance to win prizes. This could be a cash up to $100,000 for a trip to Hawaii, or yes, tickets to football games and more. Just check out iowalottery.com for all the details. And if you're not a VIP, it's very, very simple and it's free. Just sign up today at iowalottery.com/VIP. And make sure to tune in on Saturday to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. And it's good to have the Iowa Lottery on board with us this year, and going to be a fun ride with the Iowa Lottery. Somebody did ask, and we're going to ask get him back on, but they're like, if it's $1.3 billion and the payout is $573 million, what happened to the other $707 million? The 1.3 is on, a 20 or 25-year payout if you choose to do that.
But Matt Strong could come on and he would explain that to us. The tax part of it, I think I've always kind of heard that same thing. Well, you only win half of it. Oh, I'm only going to win $600 million?
Yeah,
so
I'm
it makes
okay
me
with that.
makes me like the seventh richest person in Iowa. What? What?
Oh, by the way,
dude, I have always thought, even when it gets to like $500 million, it used to be. I can remember no, you guys don't call it $500 million. That's $500 million.
See, you're always looking at it the positive way.
$500 million. And now, honestly, $500 million. I said that in jest because remember, Travis, that used to be like the joke was, hey, did you buy your Powerball ticket? And people would be like, well, it's only at $40 million. I mean, after taxes, it's only like $20 million.
And what am I going to do with $20 million?
So the lottery had this brilliant commercial for a while. Do you remember the commercial? This family is sitting inside, and all of a sudden you hear thunk, 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 thunk. And the lady looks out the window, and she's like, honey, it's raining money outside. And the guy unfolds his paper, and he looks out the things, and there's a bundle of cash lands on his front yard. And he goes, honey, that's only like $20 million. And he opens the paper again. He's like, once some real money starts falling from the sky, then I'll go out there. Now, obviously, the lottery would tell you it's not money falling from the sky. You're not guaranteed to win. Dude, you saying you could win a trip to Hawaii. I think to myself, that'd be amazing. For a half second, my brain goes to Hawaii.
Yeah. And a lot of people, we have a lot of Cyclone fans that listen to the show. And I know the Black and Gold Rush is live from the Iowa Lottery Studios. But we also have a Cyclone football promotion. You can win Iowa State and Arizona VIP suite experience with food and beverages, a parking pass, Cyclone athlete meet and greet, merchandise, and spending money. So just think about that. We're going to send you to a Cyclone football game. You can go to a Hawkeye football game. We do not discriminate around here. And it's all courtesy of the Iowa Lottery, and we thank them for that.
We ain't a bunch of Lindberghs around this place, okay? Sorry, too soon?
You mentioned, you mentioned how Charles Lindbergh and his wife didn't believe him right away because he hid his baby in the closet at sometimes. This is a sad story out of Kentucky. Just a really, really sad story. And I'm a Kentucky cheerleader. She was part of like their stunt team, Ross, has been arrested. Laken Snelling, she's 21 years old. There was a disturbing call to the police department down in Lexington, Kentucky. They went to Snelling's apartment to where they searched it, and in the closet they found a dead baby in a black plastic trash bag. Snelling was pregnant, concealed it from everybody, did not tell anybody about the birth, and at the end of it, the baby was gone, and she cleaned everything up, used all the cleaning supplies, put the baby, the cleaning supplies, everything in the trash bag, and kept the and this is a sad story. And she's been arrested. She's out on bond. She's got out on $100,000 bond. She's at her parents' home on house arrest, and she should be arrested. But this is a mental thing, right? I mean, yes. This is a total mental thing, to where the denial of being pregnant, not probably wanting to have the baby at that time of her life, didn't know what to do, probably felt isolated. And I'm making some assumptions here because it's easy to go, what a horrible human being. But there's more going on in something.
Wait,
like
she's not. In a way, I'm being very human being is the wrong word. She's not thinking like you and me. She's not thinking. There is no. It's horrible, dude. This is horrible.
Well, it's horrible, and I see Dusty says, "Well, she's a devil," and I'm like, "Well, hold on for a second. And what she did is wrong. It's horrible. She should be arrested, but again, mental illness goes in a lot of different ways, and this is."
She needs to be institutionalized.
Absolutely.
And that's we need to get a lot more clear with our rules of like, hey, once you demonstrate that you can't play the game, you don't get to play the game. I never understood how a declaration of insanity somehow made you innocent of crimes. Oh, that person's not guilty. They were declared insane. Oh, okay, they don't know how to play the game. They don't know the rules of the game. Okay, well then we put them somewhere, right? We put these people somewhere that don't understand that this human life thing is very, very special. Very special. Very special. It's one in a bajillion. This thing existed without you, and you get to be a part of it anyway. That's how cool it is. And if you don't understand that, and you don't appreciate that for other people, that you don't know the rule of the game. You don't get to play anymore. You've demonstrated that. You're not playing by the rules. That it's going to affect other people and their ability. You go someplace. This poor. I'm with you, Travis. I think both. I think that she is the devil. I think this is a demonic thing that happened there. But also my heart breaks for her because it's a 21-year-old girl who was in college and a college cheerleader and living what she thought was the American dream in some way, and then it all fell apart. And that vision that she had, whatever pressure she'd put on herself or allowed society to put on her because now if we knew anything about this girl, we'd find 1,000 things to blame. We'd find 1,000 things to blame. Oh, or her mom and dad were divorced? That's probably it. Oh, her dad was absent. He traveled a lot. Yeah, that's probably what. No. This is somebody that's not. There's no evil. Has no reason. The Joker, dude. You ever watch Batman? The one with Heath Ledger, where he's the Batman, right? And he tells the story about why. Hey, how'd you get? He goes, you want to know how I got these scars? And he tells a story. And my dad did this thing. And then later in the movie, he goes, you want to know how I got these scars? I caught my wife cheating, And then the third time he goes, hey, you want to know how I got these scars? Do you know why the story changes, Travis? The story changes because evil doesn't need a reason. Evil doesn't need a reason. So, but we would look at this girl and find out, oh, this thing happened. Oh, I bet, she must have had a boyfriend that was mean to her. She must have. No, evil didn't have a reason. We could find 1,000 of them. This is evil.
The hard thing for me to understand is, and I get this way all the time, because okay, this is going to, in a very large person, I understand knowing when somebody's pregnant. But when you're a cheerleader and you're a tiny little thing, right? I mean, let's face it, you have to have a certain body type to be a cheerleader. How do you conceal a pregnancy?
That's a good question, dude.
How did nobody know she was pregnant? I mean, you would have a baby bump. I mean, your ex-wife is a tiny thing. And, I mean, really tiny. But you knew when she was pregnant. You know, that's the one is always hard. How do you conceal something like this?
Dude, some women. We had an office meeting yesterday, and I ran into my buddy Terrell. Now Terrell doesn't. You might hear Terrell and think black dude. No, Terrell's a white girl. Okay, Terrell Bowers, beautiful girl. She walks up to me, hey, Ross, I hadn't seen her Terrell in a long time. Gave her a big hug. How you doing? Good. She goes into the meeting. We're talking. Pretty soon I turn around, I look over. She's like pregnant.
Well, pregnant. You're like, you're preggo.
She's like, yeah, I'm 5 weeks away. 5 weeks away from due date. That's how pregnant she was. Travis, I had hugged her. Didn't realize that she had this. Now she couldn't have been a cheerleader. I'm not saying that, but women show it very different. I don't. That last part I don't know. The question of how did she hide it as a cheerleader? Because somebody else asked that. Man, Kevin, nobody figured out she was pregnant. She's a cheerleader.
Exactly. Exactly. Raj, you were impressionable back in the early 80s. That's probably when your Hawkeye fandom started.
Chuck
George
Long.
Raveling passed away on Monday. He was 88 years old. He was fighting cancer. George Raveling, a former Iowa basketball coach. He replaced Lute Olson. There's a lot of things I remember about George Raveling. First of all, he wore the jumpsuits, man. He was one of the first coaches to wear the sweatsuits on the sidelines. But what I remember most about George Raveling, and Lute Olson had some great teams at Iowa, but George Raveling brought in some of the most impressionable players of my young childhood of following Iowa basketball. B.J. Armstrong, Roy Marble, Ed Horton, Greg Stokes, Gamble. I mean, just think of the names that he brought in to Iowa basketball, and he left and set Tom Davis up with a really good class because transfer portal didn't exist back then. And if it existed back then, those guys probably would have taken off, right? Because they came to play for George Raveling. But no, they stayed at Iowa. They played for Tom Davis. They went to the Elite Eight. Should have went to the Final Four. Blew a huge lead against UNLV. Not that I still get mad. I mean, blowing the lead against UNLV is almost as bad as the 4 fumbles by Ronnie Harmon in the Rose Bowl. I mean, it sits up there with me as like stuff that still gets under my skin.
I thought you were going to ask McCarney about that. I thought you were going to ask when he brought it up. He's like, "Yeah, I get a bunch of those guys together. I still talk to guys." You were like, I want to ask about that Rose Bowl. I was like, "Oh, shit!" I'm like, "No."
But that was an impressionable time for you.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. Gary Wright. Sir Slam-A-Lot.
Sir Slam-A-Lot. Because that was back in the days, right, by, Phi Slamma-Jamma, and they came up with Sir Slam-A-Lot.
The posters. Do you remember the posters you'd have on your wall as a kid? I remember one, Travis, that had like our buddy Randy Engel, who we had on the other day from Hawks Under the Kitchen thing. He does the drawings now. I remember one that was a basketball court with like caricatures of their bust. Not even caricature, drawings of each player's face around the court. Brad Lowhouse. Would Bobby Hansen have been a Lute Olson?
Yes.
And then into so could have because again
I don't think Bobby and people will correct me because they're really good at that but I thought Bobby was just a Lute Olson guy.
Was okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then who else am I thinking of? So like Steve Carfino.
That was a Lute Olson guy.
He's just before Raveling took over.
Boy, that's a good memory. The fact that you can say Steve Carfino, that's impressive.
Probably my first favorite Hawkeye basketball player.
Was it because of his name? Because that's what mine was, like Carfino. And I remember listening to Zabel on the radio. I'd sit in my kitchen and just listen to Zabel. Carfino!
Maybe that was it. Maybe it was the way it sounded. Now that you say that.
Yeah.
I think I've shared this story, but that just brought back this memory of we used to watch the games and listen to the radio, right? And I can remember that the ball would be in the air, Steve Carfino for 3, it's good! And the ball would be in the air, and then it would go through the net. And I remember as a little boy thinking to myself, Jim Zabel has seen so much basketball that he can tell by the arc of the ball whether it's going to go in or not.
Not realizing there's a delay on television.
I bet for a year of my life or more, I was like, I want to be that good. This guy has seen so much ball. Look at that. It's halfway there, and he yells it's good, and the crowd goes crazy because they know Zabel's right.
That's nuts.
So that the jumpsuit thing, though, is definitely when you think of George Raveling, it's that. Now, let's do a Charles Lindbergh thing here. Do you know the second, and really, I would say worldwide, the most fascinating part about George Raveling? Josh, you know this insanely fascinating stat about George Raveling. George Raveling was a big dude, okay? He was on the campus at Georgetown in a very important time in culture. Okay, during the Vietnam War, during the Civil Rights Movement, he's a big part of it. And he gets recruited one day to run a part of a security detail. You don't know this story. George Raveling was on the security detail on the mall in Washington, D.C., the day that Martin Luther King gave his speech, I Have a Dream.
I did know this. I think I read an article about this.
When the speech ended and Martin Luther King walked off stage, George Raveling asked if he could have the speech, and he still had it. George Raveling has the speech.
I think he donate it to his alma mater.
That could be.
Was it Temple?
That would make sense. Okay. Let me look this up because I thought he was at Georgetown. I kind of went off the top of my head there for a while.
No, that's fine. But I think this came up a couple years ago, and we were doing the show at the old place that he had donated it to his alma mater.
In 2021, he donated it to Villanova. Look at how we were nibbling there, dude.
We knew it was on the East Coast. We went from Georgetown to Temple. Is Temple in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Yes. So I got the city right. We started narrowing it down.
He worked as a security guard at the 1963 March on Washington. King, let's see, at the podium during the speech, asked King for the text as he was folding it. King handed it to him. Raveling kept the speech for decades without realizing its full historical significance. Only re-examining it, dude. Only re-examining it in 1984. Where was he in 1984?
At the University of Iowa. And the Olympics. He was an assistant coach on the 84 Olympic team.
He didn't.
How do you not know the significant historical context of that speech the minute it was given? Right?
Well, I mean, I would think certainly within weeks, months, that thing was.
And after he was shot and killed, it really became historically significant.
1984?
Going through some shoe boxes and goes, "What's this? Oh, it's the I Have a Dream speech."
Somewhere on the campus at the University of Iowa, there's a spot where George Raveling discovered he had been storing the speech. Opened, like you said, Trev, opened a box.
It might have been in the Nike shoe box. What's this?
I need a box for cash. Where do I? I need to get Roy Marble. How do I get Roy Marble? This box. What's in here? Oh my God! Set that stuff there, full of cash.
Here, read this. Read this. You know who wrote that? Yeah, that's actually his handwriting.
There's a fun rabbit hole for you.
Wow.
He was 26 years old, a college basketball star, former college basketball star. He volunteered to provide security at the podium during the speech.
Does Raveling get the due as a coach at Iowa that maybe he deserves? Or was his tenure just so short that he was the stopgap between Lute Olson, who went to the Final Four, and Tom Davis, who gave all those years?
Yes. I think, Travis, that he gets the due respect that he should have. I do. I think that he I think that most Hawkeye fans recognize what you just said there. Listen, Lute Olson was the guy that coached that team up, right? But we all knew that George Raveling, dude, as a guy that he's the first coach I remember, I was even taught, oh yeah, he got a bunch of guys from Lute, but he's the one that recruited them. He got to be the head coach because he's the guy that really had brought all of them in here. So I think, but even for a short period of time that he was there, I think he gets a lot of due respect.
You know, Gregory says he couldn't coach, just recruit. Do we know? And there might be some truth to that.
That's a hard. Sure. I won't push back on it. It's hard to push back on it. The guy recruited his ass off. Didn't have a great record, and that's how we judge coaches. You judge coach by wins, losses, national championships. Fran McCaffrey has the all-time most wins in the history of Iowa basketball.
But he won't be considered the greatest Iowa basketball coach. Just won't be.
This is incredible. All right, so he rediscovered the speech in 1984 when interviewed about being the first African-American coach at Iowa.
"88 years old. He was battling cancer. He was part of the Nike stuff when Michael Jordan signed with Nike too. I watched that movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and Raveling was a part of that.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah.
Lady Sideburns, can you imagine recruiting before cell phones and the internet?
Yeah, you can. That's why all the rules became in place.
I'm with Lady on this one. That's a hard one for me to imagine. Audrey asks me a lot about what was it like before you had cell phones? I'll tell her stories of my childhood, and you have to interject that into a story. Well, we were doing this thing and this thing and this thing, and then it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, we couldn't reach out to people. We were in the woods.
Kids like you went out and played wiffle ball, and they played in the streets. And
so I got to go wake her. When we hit the break, I got to wake her up. So wish me luck, because she's going to be coming up here. Let's hope it's not a softball on her side of her head.
She'll have a story to tell when she goes to school today. We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. We'll talk some Cy-Hawk series when we come back. Also, the NCAA going back to court thanks to a couple Vanderbilt players. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
At Midwest Landscapes and Hardscapes, we know that the only way to do business is the fair way. That means honest quotes, no surprises, and work that speaks for itself. From the first sketch to the final sweep, we keep you in the loop because communication builds trust, and trust builds beautiful spaces. Midwest Landscapes and Hardscapes, fair, skilled, thorough. Just the way it should be.
Cars basically do three things. They go, they stop, and they turn. If any of those aren't working right, bring your Infiniti into Willis Infiniti, and you'll get $50 off per axle brakes to help it stop, and you'll get $25 off an alignment to help it turn. Then you can go with peace of mind. Give us a call or visit us online at willisinfinity.com to schedule your appointment today.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. We are not on the streaming app today. We apologize for that. Some technical difficulties. We'll get those figured out, and we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll get it going. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Leave your comments in the comments section. Also, follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. We do want to thank our good friends at Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company, home of Core Power. And Ross is finding out that Core Power and the 26 grams of protein it's like mother's milk to him. It's like mother's milk to Ross. It's allowed him to get the protein that he needs and drink an overload of coffee, because it is like the premier coffee creamer for you, isn't it?
It does two things. And I don't mind my coffee black. Normally I just drink my coffee black, but started to put the Core Power in there a couple months ago, right? And it does two things. It does cut the coffee a little bit, puts a little bit of that creamer in there, and I like the chocolate because it gives it like a mocha flavor. Kind of a mocha guy. Not sure if you know this. Like a little chocolate.
I didn't know that.
Like a little chocolate in my milk. I was a Lisa Turtle guy, if you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. I'm down with you.
But I noticed that it also, Travis, lowers the temperature of said coffee. Because again, the coffee's coming off the hot pot. Coming in about 130, right? And so if I can dial that down to about 115 or so, I can chug that bad boy.
130? That's already lukewarm. It better be like 175, 180. That's what you need your coffee at.
What are you, McDonald's?
I'm just saying.
Trying to hurt people?
You want cold coffee. You might as well just be drinking a cold brew at that point.
I want it to be chugging temperature. And when I go to take a sip, I want that sip to turn into a chug. I want people to think there's something wrong. When I go to take a cup of coffee, I want other people to go, "Oh, are you ready?"
Oh, look at that. She's got
Are you ready
chipmunk
for the
cheeks.
reveal?
She's got chipmunk cheeks. But yeah, so if you haven't tried the Core Power yet, there's a variety of flavors: chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. It's absolutely wonderful, and we want you to try it. And while you're out there, get all sorts of good Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company products: the Body Armor, the Fresca, the Coke, the Diet Coke, the Coke Zero. You can't go wrong with any of those products. But we're kind of partial to the Core Power, and Ross is getting not only is he getting his protein boost, you're getting your energy boost from granola from Big Sky.
Dude. All right. This is one of those like changes your perception moments, okay?
Okay.
Because I'd had all of the Big Sky, and now sibling rivalry granola company, by the way. The name change is official and happening. The cherry and cranberry was the one I was like that was the last one I was going for, because I was like, it just doesn't speak to me. It looks like it's got raisins in it. I don't like raisins. I don't want to. Dove into that last night, and I think I ate a quarter of the bag before laying in bed, I was like, that's really good. That's really good.
Got a little tart to it.
I mean, that chewy with the cherry and the cranberry. It blew me away. That's my new favorite one. It's always been the chocolate chunk, the chocolate lovers one. That's always been the one I grab when I go to the store. I'm glad that they handed me this bag, and Steve even said when he handed it to me, like, try it. Gave me that look, like you'll know, and I know.
It's changed your life. So eat some Big Sky granola with a core power, and your day is 100% from a health standpoint. Just letting you know, we're here to get you healthy on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. It is Cy-Hawk Week. Of course, Iowa and Iowa State coming up this weekend, 11 o'clock at Jack Trice Stadium. Big noon kickoff is going to be on with Fox. And so a lot of buzz around this. Murph and Andy and the WHO TV team going all around Iowa with their RV TV. And so the hype is there. Yesterday we heard from the coaches, Ross. Kamari Moulton is not going to play for the Iowa Hawkeyes. He injured it early in the first game against Albany. And we found out yesterday that he will not be playing Saturday against the Cyclones. And normally when your number one running back goes out, it's a devastating blow to any team, right? It's like, oh, my God, you've lost your number one running back. I was in one of those rare cases that, okay, he's out, but it's such a deep running back room, you don't really this is going to sound bad. It's not going to hold the Hawkeyes back in the running game.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think that Iowa State's kind of in that similar boat. You know, you want to have a backup, and I think Iowa State's in that same boat right now, that if something happened this week, if Sama or Hansen were to, roll an ankle or something, and God forbid that were to happen, I think that they're now in a position where they're like, hey, we got some other ponies in the stable. You don't want to count on that. And you're right, Travis. You're better with Kamari Moulton than you are without him. But you've still got Jazz Patterson. You've still got, again,
Xavier Williams.
Xavier Williams. I like Xavier Williams. You have to like it, again, through the lens of it was against Albany. That's always going to be funny to me.
It's never going to get old, is it?
So I'm with you. Couldn't agree more. That it sucks. If you're a Hawkeye fan, you wish you had Kamari Moulton. He was the guy that was supposed to be the dude last year, too. So there's a lot of hope there. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of talent. That he's having a hard time staying on the field for big games and long stretches of time. So,
Kirk Ferentz also talked about Mark Gronowski. He's not worried about his quarterback. Says sure he wishes he would have thrown the football better. He goes, there's a little dig in there, just about the offense, because he goes, but you could say that about the last 2 years, and he's not wrong.
Did he really?
Yeah, he goes, yeah, we wish he would have thrown the ball better. He wishes he would have thrown the ball better, but we can say that about the last 2 years at quarterback. And he's 100% right.
He's 100% right. Yeah, Spencer Petras, I don't ever remember us being like, oh, I wish he'd have thrown a better ball. We just were like, throw the damn ball down the field. Try to take a top off of something. And
you bring up a good point when you say throw the ball down the field. There's a difference, in my opinion, about passing game. Screen passes, 5-8 yard passes, that's not a passing game. A passing game to me is when you have options and you can go 20, 25, 30, 40 yards downfield and open it up a little bit. Just if you're, it helps the percentage out, but if you're 16 of 24, but they're all just short yard outs or short yard passing games, and you're not really moving the ball down the field, or you're not, spreading the field out, is that much of a passing game? You have to look at it through a different lens, right?
Yeah. It's not, Travis. It's not, because I guess, proof's in the pudding. They're running the ball. You want to have the passing game is there to help the running game. It's complementary football, Travis. That's football, right? All these
the cliches, but they're true.
Kirk Ferentz snort comments, right?
Yeah.
Do they win football games? Is the running game effective? Yes and yes. Yes and yes. Okay, well then the passing game must be doing its job.
Why do we all want more? Why do we all want more? Because I fall into that.
Why do? Great question. Why are we all? What exactly are we searching for?
Well, I think it's easy to I think it's pretty easy to pinpoint. Is that you want to know that there are options there if your plan A doesn't work, right? If I were to get shoved into you got to throw the ball downfield, you have to move the ball effectively. You don't have confidence in that. You have confidence in the ability to run the football, but if Iowa State shuts down that run on Saturday, are you going to feel good about Iowa's ability to? You're not, no. and that's really what it boils down to. Is that you want to have confidence in that part of your offense?
Trav, you great way to put it. Kojans. One of our listeners says because they can't be the top team with that style of play. Thanks, listener.
Kojans. Is it Kojans or Kojans?
What was the dog when we were kids? Speaking of 80s memories.
Yeah.
Cujo.
The Stephen King movie.
Cujo was the dog. It was a dog that was, dude, that was scary. When I was a kid, I didn't like. Was that dog a Rottweiler, pit bull?
Or was it a German Shepherd? I don't know.
How was it spelled? C-U-J-O-K-U?
Yeah. Cujo. C-U-J-O.
I might be the first person in 35 years to go from Googling George Raveling to Cujo.
Somebody said a St. Bernard.
What? It was a St. Bernard.
Wow.
What? With rabies. Wow. It had been bitten by a bat.
That farmer should have called Corey from Bats and Bugs.
Corey, there's your next commercial.
Don't let your dog become Cujo.
And you come in and you point at it and you go, I can't do anything about that, but I could have prevented it.
You got a creative team right here, Corey.
Don't let your problems get out of hand.
I wonder.
Corey's calling Troy's Creative right now, canceling his ad buy.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. What year did Cujo come out? Is it up there?
It's a 1983 film adaptation.
I wonder if in 1983, 1984, 85, right around that time, that the St. Bernard went through a time where people didn't want to own a St. Bernard because of Cujo. You know what I'm talking about? In that, because you look at a St. Bernard now, and you're like, oh, it's the big old fluffy dog that I want to have in the house, and had the little barrel around its neck because it's so big, it's fluffy. But you wonder when Cujo came out if they were like, there's no way we're going to have a St. Bernard in our house. No way.
It wasn't affected at all.
Really?
St. Bernard ownership was not significantly impacted by the release of Cujo. Check out her nails, Trav. Check out her nails that she got for her birthday.
Wow. Pretty nails.
Nobody's going to notice your cheek because they're just going to see your pretty nails.
Yeah.
Like, oh, check out your nails. Like, dang, Audrey, what'd you get for your birthday? You can say, I got a new cheek.
No, I can say, I got hit in the face with a golf club.
Got hit in the face with a golf club. She did even said earlier, Trav, she goes, it looks funny when I smile.
Don't tell her not to say that, because at the end of the day, they're going to call, Home Protective Services, and they're going to come see, hey, Ross.
Yeah.
Make sure you didn't hit her with a golf club.
Yeah. She's such a happy kid, though, still.
is a
You know what I
happy
mean?
kid.
First thing she said to me was, it feels funny when I smile. Well, that's good that you're smiling. I love you. All right, go get him, okay?
Just tell her to go hit her other cheek and she'll look normal. Let's just go ahead and boom, boom. Another part of the Cyhawk game, Iowa State jumps from number 22 to number 16 in this week's Associated Press poll. So the Cyclones, Iowa no longer getting votes. And probably shouldn't have. The one thing that surprised me is Kansas State was still getting votes. I'm like, okay, you got beat by Iowa State. You struggled against North Dakota, but yet you're still getting votes. But Iowa not getting votes. Iowa State up to 16. That's a pretty hefty jump, but I think it's worthy, right? You beat a ranked team in Kansas State, and then you follow that up with a thumping. And even though it was an FCS school, you follow it up with a thumping, and people go, oh, okay.
Yeah, my response to it is about time. It's cool. A week late. They should have probably been bumped up to 16 after they beat Kansas State in that game. People will continue to say, "Oh, it was just South Dakota." They looked great on Saturday, so that looked to me like a top 15 team. Sure, I could even see Cyclone fans that are saying 16. The right response is that's perfect. Perfect. They still can sneak up on some folks. Still some room for improvement. None of this stuff matters. Like being 16, what matters for Iowa State is the biggest fish in the pond, man. You guys have a legitimate path to get to the college football playoff. Eyes on the prize. Iowa ain't the prize. And I'm not saying you don't try to win this football game by any stretch. What I'm saying is if something happens and the crazy ball bounces the way the Hawkeyes' way and this game doesn't go your way, eyes on the prize. That big fish is still in the lake and you got to keep going after it. And that being ranked 16th is great. That shows that you're on top of the fish. You're real close to landing that spot in the college football playoff. And I think that's got to be the attitude for the Hawkeyes. And then from that point on, this is the last game, by the way, that you can have that. Because lose any of these other games, now you're really impacting that spot.
Yeah, and beating Kansas State to start with, obviously, as Brent Bloom told us on the show a couple weeks ago, is that put Iowa State into the driver's seat. And every team at this time of the year always controls their own destiny, right? And Iowa State will continue to do that. It's just I like it that they're 16th. I think that's about right. And it's still that's laying low enough on a national scale to where those huge expectations, because once you get in the top 10, top 5, then you gotta people start paying attention.
Then it's not
really
winning;
close.
it's how you win.
100%.
Hey, Luke says the rankings didn't come out after the game in Dublin. They didn't.
So they started. They started 22nd. I thought they did because this is week 2. I thought they did, but
I thought they had also, but
it didn't matter. But they were ranked in the top 25 to start, so they
deserving to be moved up to where they are.
Yeah, so they started 22 and then are now 16. So, of course, one of the big showdowns over the weekend, Ross, was Clemson and LSU. LSU beat Clemson, went to old Clemson and beat Dabo Swinney. And this is why I don't like Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly he's a piece of work. He really you look at him. In my opinion, you hear him.
You want to punch him.
I want to punch him. Just where's the key grip? Where's the key grip?
I look at his face and I just want
to punch him.
Punch him.
You know, they asked Dabo Swinney in his news conference this week about the loss, and he goes, it was a hard fought game. Two teams played really well. If you were grading this on a scale, we got a 58 and LSU got a 65. They were just, that was the difference. And it was a close game. It was a good game. They asked Brian Kelly about that, and Brian Kelly comes out and says, well, what kind of grader he is. He goes, Dabo must not have watched the second half because we dominated him. We kind of taking a shot and just saying, you know what? That's his grading scale. It was a good game. We got out of there with a win, but he gets a little jab in to go, well, I don't know what kind of grader he is and he didn't watch the second half because we dominated him. Now, if you're an LSU fan, you're like, yeah, that's my coach, but you just watch the way he says it. You listen to him and you're like, this is why you're not likable. This is why you're not likable.
Likable is such a hard thing to put a finger on, because we want people to be honest. No, we don't. No, we don't. Well, I think what we want is people to be respectful, and maybe that's where maybe the line is that where this one seemed where Brian Kelly seems to fall on the other side of likable, because that's just a jerk thing to say.
I mean, when Dabo Swinney says they got a higher grade than us, they played better than us, they tested better than us, he's saying they beat us.
Yeah, yeah. And
you don't have to follow it up with we dominated them. He didn't watch the second half.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the word you might have touched on it there, Travis. That he's not likable. Why isn't he likable? I think this comes across as disrespectful. We want winners. We want people to win with grace, I feel like.
Class and grace. And we're spoiled in Iowa with Matt Campbell. Win and lose with grace. And sure, when people sound off, we expect it more from fans. But I think still deep down, you can be honest and tactful. How's that? Tactful.
All of this stuff is hard to. It's that bed of nails. I love Andrew Downs used to always talk about that analogy of the bed of nails. You take any one of these things and it pokes right through. But when you lay them all out, it seems to support an argument. Okay. I think, Travis, I'm gonna circle around the drain and come back to one of your core character traits that you talk about often. We don't paint with broad brushes. Some people like Deion Sanders. He's flamboyant. Hell, he's not even winning, and he's bragging to everybody about how great he is, right? Some people like Bill Belichick. Wins all the time. Just keep your mouth shut, right? The Kirk Ferentz model that you're talking about, that very respectful thing. Some of us like to be told how great you are when you win. Some of us like to be told not how great you are and you just like to win. What we don't like is inauthentic. We want authenticity. And I think that's what pours through. That's what cuts through that noise. And what Brian Kelly doesn't have. As soon as you started talking about Brian Kelly, 3 or 4 people in the chat started talking about that old accent. Remember when Brian Kelly got hired at LSU, and all of a sudden he was out there talking like Hillary Clinton.
And then he did the dance video on the recruiting video.
I've never gone so far.
And the truth is, his answer for being an East Coast guy might have been authentic, but it takes you a while to like an East Coast guy.
But we've already. My point is here. It's more than just this statement. This Brian Kelly, right? More than just this one statement. I'm talking. Brian Kelly is not authentic, and so even when you get something that might be neighboring or nibbling on that authenticity, you go, "Nah, man, you ain't the real deal." We know you're not the real deal. The dance video, JT's killing it.
Yeah.
The dance video with the recruit and the spinning camera, and that's not you, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? When Jim Harbaugh acts like a cornball, it comes across as authentic. Right? You see it and you're like, oh, this guy's a goofball. But there's something about he must always be a goofball because it feels real.
Yeah, because I think when he did it, we were all like, "What are you doing?" Then over time, you're like, "Oh, he's just a quirky dude."
Yeah, he spent the night at a recruit's house. I remember bashing that, like this is gimmicky stuff, and then you go, "Oh wait, he is gimmicky."
And unfortunately, in with humans, you're either likable or you're not likable, right? And
but people,
you can be a total jerk, but you go, "God, I like that guy."
And obviously, Travis, you know this as well as anybody in my world. There's a part of him that must be extremely likable. Face to face, he must be, because he gets great jobs. He gets $1 million salary jobs. They don't hand those out, guys. They aren't waiting to hand those out. He gets recruits. He goes into living rooms and he convinces parents that he's the guy that should, not Nick Saban, not Jim Harbaugh. He recruits against those guys that we would all go, oh man, look at the charisma pouring off of those guys. He beats them. So there's got to be something there, right? We just don't see it. We see from a distance, we see all the stuff that JT is talking about, that he's not authentic. The accent is the best example of it.
Yeah.
There's no authenticity there when you show up after everybody knows who you are around the country, and you show up and all of a sudden start talking different. Politicians do it, by the way, all the time. This is what I mentioned it. This is what killed Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton had a different accent for different parts of the country that she went to, and people started recognizing it and going, oh, it's not authentic. When I was with her, I really liked it. But now that I'm away from her and she's doing it to everybody, I see the gimmick.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever rooted for somebody to lose more than Brian Kelly. And let's use the old coach, Ed Orgeron. That guy wanted to win. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. And there was just something unique about him, just something likable about him. And then I've never wished, it's not like I want him to get hurt, but every time LSU plays now, I want him to lose. I really want him to lose just to shut the guy up.
Out of spite.
Out of spite.
I hate this man.
I don't mean to be a spiteful person, but damn.
Patrick brings in a good element of this. Again, like an important component of this. Was part of that accent thing that drove us so bonkers was that this was directly adjacent to Ed Orgeron,
who was as Cajun as it comes.
I couldn't understand that man. He talking like this. Ed Orgeron. He couldn't even hear what he was saying. He talking like this. Was that part of it? Is that an element to it where we heard that and then all of a sudden, Brian, we're doing great, man. Thanks. What do you got? What you're in a beautiful courtyard.
So all I did is turn around because yesterday when the sun was behind me, you know, the screen got really, really weird. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting backlight that's throwing the iris off in the camera. So I just turned it around so I wouldn't get the light behind me and I'd be illuminated the whole time.
That guy gave us the peace sign. Say hi to him. Just say, hey, what's up? Everybody says hi.
Oh, Ross. Jerk. I am a jerk. I'm a big jerk.
What the lady call you at the thing? Did she call you a jerk? Rude.
Yeah, I'm rude. I'm rude is what it is.
Is that why you're outside?
No, I'm outside because my wife and daughter were sleeping, and I didn't want to bother the people having breakfast inside.
Didn't want to be rude. He just said it.
It's hard to see the surroundings, but it deadens the voice out here, so I don't carry a lot. So I'm a loud dude anyway. I'm just not as loud here, and the scenery is pretty cool.
It is great. I love it. Yeah,
it beats the curtains I had on Monday.
It was really cool earlier. We had a moment. I almost brought it up. You were talking, and the light was hitting you just right. You got the orange on your shirt, but the illumination in the background looked like you had some sort of filter on where it was black and white.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really neat. And then that dude came walking behind you, and he's a black guy. And it was like, does he have a filter on?
No, I don't.
It
I
looked
don't have
like
any filters
it didn't, and it took until he came into the light. But it really was. It was super cool look because you're all colored, but everything else looked black and white behind you. And I was like, what in the heck is that?
It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. We'll be right back.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5.
Okay.
That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, Service Manager at Willis Lexus, and I want to take a moment to share our smoking hot deals we got going on for the month of August. Right now we got a 20% discount on brake pads and rotors, and also a 50% discount on alignments with the purchase of 4 new tires. That's a $90 value. And don't forget to ask about our Lexus Tire Price Match Guarantee. Give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com. Thank you for watching and stay cool.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hey, it's Marion over at Land Rover of Des Moines. With all those summer miles and any last-minute road trips you have before school starts, come on down and get an alignment for $179.95 and $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or schedule online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Got about another half hour with you. Quick reminder that Todd Stepsis, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, going to be joining us tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Panthers heading on the road this weekend, taking on Wyoming. I think that's a winnable game. You hear FCS and FBS school. I actually think this is a winning game, winnable game. Wyoming beat Akron last week 10-0, and Akron's a bad football team. Bad football team.
Akron or Yakron?
Yeah. What should we just say? Yakron? Now you got me going with this Albany thing, which Albany will never be Albany anymore. Where are you guys going on vacation? We're going to Albany. You going where? What's the capital of New York? Albany.
That's gonna help me. I'm one of those guys that. What's the capital of New York? And I go, New York? What's the capital of Illinois? Chicago? I'm really bad with capitals.
Springfield's
I'm really bad with capitals. I know Des Moines.
My wife has a bad memory with Albany.
What happened?
Well, she was supposed to go to she went to New York City a couple years ago on a girls trip, right? A nor'easter came in the middle of the winter, so she got delayed in Minneapolis. They couldn't get her to New York City, so they diverted her flight to Albany, where in Albany she got on a Greyhound bus to go to New York City. And the look on your face, Ross, explains exactly what she was feeling.
I can't even. The only image I have of a Greyhound bus, when you say Greyhound, is Reverend Ray lighting a corn cob like a joint. That's I remember he sent me a picture. He had sent Bruno and I a photo one time of him on the back of a Greyhound bus holding a corn cob What? What?
If I had two options, Greyhound bus or hitchhiking, I'm hitchhiking. I want no part of bus transit. Zero.
All right, one of my smart. This gave me great comfort. Thank you so much. This is why I love my friends. I'm so lucky to have this group of friends. One of my smartest friends, if not my smartest friend.
Thank you.
Says I'm also horrible at capitals, but I also figure it's completely useless information. I'd rather use my brain for other stuff. Bingo. That's why I don't go to the gym, because you can pull a muscle.
I think knowing capitals is it's a valuable thing.
Why? Explain.
To know your country, to understand.
I know my
appreciate.
country. I know. I can name almost every state until you get up into the Northeast, and then things get a little bit funny.
We were checking out at Home Goods or Walmart yesterday, and Anjanette goes, "Yeah, because Anjanette's a yapper. She wants to talk to everybody. She's kind of like you, in that she wants to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Me, I'm actually an introvert. I'm not going to go out of my way to talk to people. I like to keep to myself.
Yeah.
But she's talking. Where are you from? Nebraska. And she just paused, and had that long look on her face, and she went. In the best Ron Burgundy voice, Midwest? Yeah, that's it. That's it. I like to think, having known the state capitals, I know where every state is. Yeah, I don't have to go, you're on the East Coast.
If you would have said to me, we were checking out at Home Goods yesterday, and my wife went to go use the credit card, and the lady went to run the credit card, and she goes, "Oh, it says you have to know the capital of Idaho in order to purchase this." And your wife rattled it off. Then I'd be like, "Oh, it does come in handy." I didn't know they did that, but they didn't do that, did they?
It's one of the security questions on it when you have to get back into your account. What is the capital of Vermont?
All right, you're going to need your PIN number and capital of New Mexico, please.
I'm okay with that. Santa Fe. I've been to the capital.
Lady Sideburns says most people in the U.S. don't even know how to properly pronounce Des Moines. My favorite was Dixie Wooten. Dixie was the head coach for the Iowa Barnstormers here in Des Moines, Iowa, for 4 years. He won a world championship and brought it here to Des Moines. Right? I drank out of the damn cup. Went fishing with Dixie. Loved that guy. I need to reach out. Love that guy. Super, super fun guy to be around. The man says Des Moines. The whole time he was here, I love Des Moines, man. Des Moines is the best. People of Des Moines, people are wonderful. And he would hear other people say Des Moines, and he was like, my brain says Des Moines.
But it was authentic, so we let him off the hook, right?
What a great word for that again.
Because he didn't mean it by disrespect. Like when people say Ferentz, you almost take it in a disrespectful way.
What a great, but good analogy there, Travis. Good back to that, because sometimes when we were doing sound off, you could kind of pick up on when a Cyclone fan was saying Ferentz. But when it was a Hawkeye fan, there, like my dad loves the Hawkeyes, loves Kirk Ferentz, loves him. Would literally, if he saw Kirk Ferentz, my dad would give him the shirt off his back.
Does he still call him Ferentz?
Yes.
Is it because your dad just can't say it?
It's for the same reason he says Missouri and Washington and. Oh. He said, "Oh."
Well, here's the deal.
It's what you grow up with. Again,
my mother, God rest her soul, she could not say Washington. It was always Washington, and it's one of those things. It's like, really, Mom? It's Washington. There's no R in there. Where are you getting Washington at? It's like W. No, it's W.
I've always thought that with Missouri. Where are you from? Just a couple hours south. I live down in Missouri. By the creek.
It's a creek.
Joe. I love Joe Knapp, our buddy Joe. It's Kurt Ferentz.
The NCAA is. I wonder what the lawyer fees for the NCAA are, because this organization seems to be taken to court time after time after time again. All the money from the TV deals, everything has got to be paying a lot of lawyers. Ross, they're getting sued again. A class action suit brought by 2 Vanderbilt players are suing the NCAA over its eligibility requirements, saying that, you know what, the red shirt year should not be allowed. You should just get automatic 5 years of eligibility with the NCAA. And I don't have a strong opinion on this, but I think it's worthy of talking about, because now so many things have changed. There was a time when freshmen couldn't play, right? I mean, it was
right. Wow, doesn't that feel like, you mean back in like the 1800s?
No, we're going to like back to the 1970s. Freshmen couldn't play. I forget when that actually changed. And then the redshirt year comes in. If you redshirted, you couldn't play 1 second, and if you played 1 second, that counted as a year. Then it changed to where you now you can play in 4 games, I believe it is, and still maintain the redshirt year. And then the medical redshirt came in. So, you could have redshirted, but if you get hurt, then you get a medical redshirt. So then you get 6 years of eligibility. Then you had the COVID year, to where we had guys that had 7 years of eligibility. I mean, so this is where it gets convoluted a lot. But should we just get rid of the redshirt year? Should we just have 5 years of eligibility? And when does it change? And when does it change? Now that you're getting paid, you're a professional. Is this, hey, can I just become a full-time student and a full-time player until they cut me? I know it's weird to think about, but Travis? Why have it the way it is right now? Why you just laid it out? We're only here because of this wild array of circumstances that got thrown at us. So go back to the beginning. The freshman thing used to be important because you didn't develop. Youth sports was not a freaking billion-dollar industry. So Let's use Iowa United. If you haven't heard our interview with Iowa United yesterday, you need to go back and listen to that, because that is a basketball factory to where they are attracting the best basketball talent in the country and putting them through. I mean, those players that come out of Iowa United are going to be expected to play at the Division I level right away, right? I mean,
they might get kids drafted.
Yeah.
There might be kids in 5 years. You might have a kid drafted. Where did he get drafted out of? Iowa United. That I could see that happen. That's the type of talent they're hoping to pull in here. And when you see the facility, you're going to go, yeah, they're going to bring it. The best 18, 19, 20, 17, 50, they're going to want to play at that place. It's incredible. So, Travis, younger and younger and younger guys are getting better and better and better and more prepared. So 50 years ago, again, we don't have to go back that far, where freshmen could not compete. They weren't allowed to because you'd get hurt. Can't put an 18-year-old kid out there with a 22-year-old man. Now you've got 17-year-olds playing professional sports and being some of the best in the world at it. And why is that? Because they're starting earlier. They're getting better and better prepared, getting better coaching, better Iowa United type facilities in every sport that help these guys, these young athletes, become uber competitive. So that's the first direction is, hell no, we don't need to go to 5 years. We don't need 6 years of eligibility anymore. We only need 5. And then, but why 5? Thought college was supposed to be a 4-year endeavor. And if you weren't good enough to play your freshman year and you're not good enough to play your and what are we doing? Why are you allowed to stick around? Maybe it should be 4 years.
And then look at wrestling. You can redshirt, but you can wrestle unattached.
Yeah.
And still wrestle.
You can do that with a lot of sports. With a lot of sports, you cannot compete in the NCAA and keep yourself sharp against the best competition in the world. Soccer, hockey, baseball. You don't need the NCAA to do that. Football is the outlier. Football is the outlier. The only way to get to the NFL, not through college football, is through punting. And even that now, we've turned into we've taken these flexible rules of college, and now these guys have figured out, oh wait, we can go get a man who's had a professional career in Australia. That's only for punter right now, guys. It's only for punter right now. That's going to change. That's going to change. Some college is going to bring in a 26-year-old dude who played rugby, who can run over 18-year-olds. So what should the rules be? Should it go to that? Where, like you said, Travis, as long as you're enrolled in the school and you're passing the academics, hell, you could do adult continued education.
Get a master's degree, get a PhD.
Yeah.
You can keep going.
On the tee box for the University of Iowa today in the Big Ten Championship, Scotty Scheffler.
I mean, I do think there has to be parameters. There does come a time, and if you've gone to college, you'll know this. Ross dropped out, but it'll be. There does come a time where you're ready to leave, right? You're ready to start something. I do think.
See, mine just came earlier than yours.
It came earlier, but I remember when I hit my third year at Grandview, I was like, I'm ready. I'm done with this. I'm ready to get out of here. I want to start life, and there does come a point where it needs to come to an end. You don't get to ride the gravy train, but we do have a 6 year of eligibility if you get a medical red shirt, and I guess if you're going to do it, then say, okay, you can have 5 years of eligibility, but there's no medical red shirts. There's no red shirts. It's 5 years and you're done. Because what we're doing here is complicating the system.
Yes.
And if you just made it simple, said, okay, we'll go with 5 years, but there's no. And wonder how coaches would feel about that. If you said, hey, we're taking away the medical red shirt. You get 5 years. That's your clock. Starts day one.
Injuries happen, and they are an unfortunate part of life in sports specifically. And some of the greatest of all time never got to do it because of injury. And that's the way the cookie
crumbles.
It's the way the cookie crumbles. It's the way the dominoes fall, man. And they don't fall your way sometimes.
Well, you remember last year it was a Vanderbilt quarterback that took the NCAA to court over junior college eligibility. Okay, that those 2 years, because it's not an NCAA, he should be given 4 years because he's now playing in the NCAA. And I was on board with it at the time, but now that I think about it, I'm like, okay, maybe you should just got 5 years, and that would have been good.
At some point, we have to say you just weren't good enough. Cool. Now you're 24 years old and you're good enough to play Division I football. Neat. The rules are you're supposed to be 18 to 22. And so you weren't good enough during that time. And you matured late. Hey, man, me too, brother. High five. Guess what? Life didn't peak for you at 25. That's good news. That's good news. Don't hold on to this thing. Because, look at Cade McNamara.
Still playing. Crazy.
Taking getting at bats. Why? Why? What's the goal? Is Cade McNamara going to be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets someday?
No.
Maybe he thinks so. Why is the system holding on to a guy like that? Because they have a better shot of winning tomorrow. They have a better shot of winning on Saturday than if they had a 19-year-old kid that they were developing. There's actually less commitment. There's actually less commitment for them just to go and get the kid that falls out of Iowa every year, because Iowa's going to have 3 quarterbacks leave the room every year. So just wait and pick up Deuce Hogan.
Jackson Stratton.
So,
I mean, that may be the best solution for the NCAA is to come back and say, here's the deal. We'll go along with the 5 years, but that's it. 5 years is all you get. Because some people, it does take longer to get through school, and these kids aren't taking a full 15 hours during the season. They're taking 12 hours, and I get that.
So, like high school sports in Iowa, there's a hard cutoff. I think it's I think it's 19. It might be 20. Somebody will know. There's a hard cutoff in the state of Iowa of when you can play. You can only play sports until a birthday.
Yeah, because you become a man at that
Yeah,
point. You
right.
become a woman at that point.
And you have kids that started school late or that were held back a grade or transferred from some, you know what I mean, had a weird family history. Some kids are from other countries. They have a language barrier that holds them back, and they're 19 years old and they're a senior in high school. And we look at that and go, man, that's too bad. I know you can dunk a basketball. You're too old to play against these guys or girls. You don't get to, you don't fit in the rules anymore. Sorry, man.
Or you're just not good enough. You know, Casey brings up a good point. He goes, I don't think most of them think about making it professional. It's because they're getting paid a pretty penny right now.
That's a good point, Casey. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not looking at it from the athlete's perspective. You're 100% right, Casey. And they're competitors. And like, let's use Cade McNamara here. And I hate doing that because it makes it very personal. And I'm sure somebody listening to us knows him. And he's a wonderful guy, I'm sure. But let's just use him as the face of this conversation for just a moment here. From Cade McNamara's perspective, yeah, he still wants to play football. It's all he's ever known. It's all he's ever been. Hell, he was a starting quarterback at freaking Michigan, man. He wants to be in Iowa. I'm not don't mean to downplay that, but I'm just saying he wanted to be an NFL quarterback, and he still has that dream. And he probably still has people in his ear that say, "Dude, you're right there. You're right there. Keep rehabbing, keep going at it." The system. This is a hate the game, not the player. I hate that the system continues to keep that dream alive for him and fuel that dream when it's dead. We all know it. And again, I don't mean to use him specifically because is there a chance that he goes on and does yes, that would be amazing, and then I've got to eat all these words. I just mean as a whole that we're keeping guys around a long time.
And why I think it's okay to say 5 because you're letting guys play in 4 games now. You're saying, hey, you can play in 4 games and you still get to maintain that red shirt. So if you're going to do that, just say you get 5 years. You can play a guy 5 years. Yep. And that's the cutoff. Get rid of the medical red shirts. Get rid of all this. Don't complicate it even more. Just make it more simple and say this is what it is.
Trav, would you be okay with an age limit on the NCAA? Saying 24. You turn you on your 25th birthday, you're not allowed to play college sports anymore.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that.
That would seem to me like that might be a fair, because then you can allow for some injuries. You can allow for some rehabilitation. By this point, are you headed to the pros or not?
Well, the exception to that would be, and this is the BYU situation, whereas some of those guys have to go do a 2-year mission before they come back. There are missionaries to where they come back and you're like, or do you say, hey, we're a non-religious organization. These are the rules. You knew it. You wanted to go evangelize people and Joseph Smith.
And I won't. I mean, now it's not the time to. I don't want to use this time to bash on Mormonism, but that is an interesting thing to consider. I would want to be considerate of that. Do you make special rules just for one school?
Yeah. Who was the Oklahoma State quarterback a couple years ago? He was like 27 years old. He was good. Remember that? He was like 27 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
Started with a W, I think. I should know his name.
And he'd been at Florida State too, right? What? Somebody's going to know his name. Who are we talking about here?
And he went
Brandon
Whedon?
Brandon Whedon? Is that it?
Might be. But he was like 27 years old. And he started, I believe, in baseball. He was drafted, started his career in the majors, if I'm not mistaken, didn't cut it as a professional baseball player, and then ended up playing college football.
Brandon Whedon. We got it, dude. Hey, knuckles on that one, brother.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That was you. That was all
no,
you.
No, I came up with the you're the one that came up with the Whedon. I had Brandon W in my head. Good on us. I'm impressed with that.
We know some.
Blind squirrel type of thing there.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Real quickly before we get out of here, Caitlin Clark went through some 5-on-0 drills yesterday, non-contact. She missed yesterday's game with Phoenix. Indiana got beat. There's still no timetable for her to return. There is a possibility that she comes back Thursday against Chicago. Again, she's missed 27 games this year. She hasn't played since mid-July. Again, it's about the long-term health with her. But the WNBA, Ross, needs her. There's no doubt about it. And with this collective bargaining agreement taking place, it's even being shown even more how much they need her. To me, the league has been, and to me personally, has been non-existent since she left. But going through non-contact drills, getting out there, but still not cleared to play.
Did they? And I didn't even check. Did they show video of what she was doing? Did they?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Just very,
because
like
non-contact 5-on-0.
Yeah.
That's called practice.
Yeah,
that's called dribbling up and down the court with your friends. That's called playing horse. Non-contact 5-on. How many? How many were on the other team?
0.
Hope they won.
Dribbling down the court.
Hope they won. That'd have been embarrassing.
You.
How bad are things with Caitlin? They lost against nobody.
It's the literal phrase going through the motions.
Yeah, and they got to do it. I'm glad they showed video of it. If you'd told me there hadn't been video of it, my conspiracy eye would have popped in. I'd have been like, oh, wait a minute, that ain't right. So at least they showed video of it. But Travis, you hit the last part of it's the most important. What you said there to me. One, they need her. They absolutely need her. This league will be dead without her, and they're recognizing it, and they're trying their best, and they need her. They need her for the collective bargaining. They need her for the money machine. That's something I've said all along. And I've also said, if there's something seriously wrong, they aren't going to say, hey, she can't play for 6 months. She's not going to do that. They're going to go, it's day to day. It's day to day. Just stick around. Stick around for more. More to come.
It's throwing the carrot out there. It's like you went to the dog track and the bunnies running around the track. Don't forget, Todd Stepsis, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, is going to join us tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Bruno will be in at 7:30. And when you go to the gas station today, pump it up with unleaded 88. It's grown by corn farmers right here in the state of Iowa. So pump it up with unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org for more information. Of course, this week you've got the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Trophy up for grabs Saturday in Ames. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Thank you for tuning in. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager here at Mini of Des Moines. It's August, and while most of Iowa has shifted their attention to corn dogs and butter cows, us here at Mini of Des Moines are still focused on making sure your Mini is running properly and well maintained. Please give us a call or schedule your appointment online at miniofdesmoines.com.
bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience Links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.